All right, and welcome to Rebel Republic. You're either with us or you're against us. I am your host, the best podcast host in the universe, Steve Cully. Sitting to my left is none other than the voice of reason himself, Frank Cristiano.
That is me. Is that Megadeth on the opening music?
I don't know who it is. I just hope it's licensed. We haven't gotten sued yet, so
True.
It must be okay. And then there's also Coach Schumann. Coach, thank you. Thanks for being with us.
Nice to say about me.
You have a glorious beard going. The old man look is not intact, which is awesome.
Is that a baby grand in the background there, or is that a grand piano?
No, he's got a digital background, which I should get.
Oh, wait a minute. That's digital. That's not your house.
He's got a green screen.
Oh, that's fantastic. Look at that.
He's big time. What are you going to do?
Wow.
What are you going to do?
Wow.
He's big time.
I like it.
That's why he has it.
True.
So, Coach, just what happened on Moneyline that you ended up running a little late?
I was on the phone with somebody that just doing business with somebody.
It wasn't my fault. Nothing to do with me.
No, it's not your fault.
Okay, that's all I want to know. That's all I want to
know.
Well, let me tell you why I was late.
Oh, please do.
Give you a story in my restaurant.
This is amazing.
So I get a phone call and they go, can you see on your phone, can you replay stuff on your cameras? I don't think so, but let me try. So I try. My waitress puts her cell phone and keys right next to the register for the night, and that's usually where she's left them for so many years. Night goes by, end of the night, they can't find her cell phone, can't find her keys, gone. She thinks that she lost them, maybe somebody moved them, can't find it. I look on the camera. I see at the waitress station, I see the phone and the keys there. A minute later, phone and keys are gone. Some guy walked up to the bar and ended up first he put the keys in his pocket. And this is, it's hard to see on a phone. I can only see his head because the camera's pointed downwards.
This is New Hartford.
Key goes into the pocket, and then the cell phone slides off the counter. I can see off the bar and goes into the pocket. So I'm like, I called down the store. Yeah, I see him. It's some guy and a guy next to him in a hat. And the guy took it, and then they left. I couldn't see after that. So they go, we want to call the cops. So I got to go down there. So I leave Moneyline just before it goes on. And I go down and I start opening up the camera to see where all the angles are. You should have
just let me call my dad.
No.
Keep him out of bed. Let's do that.
So it ends up that we see it, and then one of the kids who works for me recognizes it. I go, that's a guy I know over there. Yeah. So, and he knows the guy, and it was the son that put the phone and the keys in his pocket. The son's like,
was he
28, 30, somewhere in there?
Was he the R word?
He was autistic. The A
there
word.
You go. Okay.
Yeah, so he's autistic. So he ended up taking the phone, and he's a klepto. He takes everything. So he does. Takes everything.
That's possible. You can be an autistic klepto.
Apparently, this kid daily has forks, knives, spare matches, everything in his pockets.
I'm going to start doing that. Now.
Yeah,
I'm going to start stealing and saying I'm autistic.
Well, maybe you are autistic, so probably the stealing part just comes along with it. So we know who it is. I have the guy's number in my cell phone because he's a restaurant owner. So
he's a restaurant owner.
Yeah.
He's an autistic restaurant owner?
The son is. The father was with him getting dinner.
Okay.
The father was getting an order of chicken riggies and some other stuff to take home for his son. And so I call him up and I say, hey, you think? I hate to say this and all that, but I think your son. My waitress is missing her phone and her keys. I don't even know how to say it, but I think your son may have. He goes, oh yeah, listen. I apologize. Where are you at the store? He goes, I'll be right there. And they were in the car, so he just turned the car around and came in, and the cops were there at the same time. We all talked.
They didn't press charges.
No, I told the cops, I go, we got it all resolved. Don't worry. And their cops are great and all that. And then we were just talking. I felt bad. The guy, he's just, he takes his kid out.
How old is the kid?
Oh, he's got to be maybe 30. 30 something,
wow.
But it is what it is. I felt terrible. But that was to be a klepto. That was half an hour to 40 minutes that I spent.
Yeah, when you have autism, depending on your severity, they
it's tough.
Not functional.
Yeah, right. Well,
I think he's functional. He just was smart enough to steal. I think that's functional.
Well, the father was there. They pulled up right next to the cop car, and he's yelling at his son. You see the car? The car's there to take you away. We're taking you away in the cop car. And the officer's like, please, sir, we don't want to traumatize your son. That's the last thing I want right now. Terrible.
Well, that's a great start to.
It's a great story.
Yeah, it's a great story.
That's where I wasted 40 minutes. What are you going to do?
That's okay. That's okay. Coach Ambrose was more than happy to talk about how much he despised college football in the current state of it.
Great.
Yeah, yeah. And he would talk politics. I don't know if it would be our politics, but he would talk.
Yeah.
I bet you he'd probably be more similar to ours than you think.
Connecticut's the blue state, right?
That's
Yeah.
correct.
Yeah, so I maybe not. I don't know. Maybe I'll ask him. I'll see what he says. I think Linden's a blue, so maybe he is. I wanted to ask. I had read this earlier. I just want to make sure I get it right.
Please.
The Attorney General that she's kind of cute.
Pam Bondi.
Yeah, Pam. She issued a stern warning to those engaged in government fraud at the most recent cabinet meeting on Monday. Speaking with President Trump present at the meeting, Bondi thanked Tesla CEO Elon Musk for uncovering fraud, waste, abuse throughout the government through Doge. The Doge initiative.
What about fraud, waste, and abuse through the Senate and House of Representatives? Are there 635 members of Congress shaking in their boots right now because Pam Bondi said we are on to government fraud?
Yeah, I mean, she said
they're taking money left and right from third-party entities and maybe transferring of funds and stuff. So they should be quaking in their boots.
Transferring.
That's who you need to talk to. You need to talk to somebody in the federal government.
Yeah.
Figure out how to launder money.
Sure.
And then you won't have to pay $90,000 for your kid to go to school.
Right. That's exactly what I'm looking for.
I think that's
to skim off the American public to get my kid an education that he may or may not even use when he grows up.
I really think that's the way to go.
No, I'll pass on that. That's not how I want to be. That's not how I want to go down in history or in prison.
What if you knew you could get away from it?
When you think you can get away from it, that's when you get caught.
I'm saying hypothetically.
When you walk around, when you steal something, and you know you stole something, and you walk around all puffy chest, that's when someone comes out of the back of the alley with a 2x4 and bashes you up on the head because you know you've lost. Yeah. If you're the guy that steals something and you're constantly, you're scared, you're looking around, you're on guard. You have time. There's a window. You understand that there's an expiration date on what you've done, but at least you have time to prepare for this. But if you walk around all confident and shit, that's when you're going to get knocked out.
Yeah, no, 100%, 100%. I wanted to ask you this because I was over with Joe DePeace. He's the superintendent.
He's our new superintendent in our school. Yeah,
he told me that the New Hartford finances are in complete disarray.
Yeah.
There's so much money from the property tax, school tax, all that stuff.
Right.
They have a ton of it.
Sure.
But there's so much expenditure to go out that they have nothing.
Yeah.
How can that be?
Because
they
every year pension plans continue.
Yes, he said
medical coverages continue.
Yes,
right. Prescription plans continue. Everything continues, and everything, unfortunately, everything in the direct path of life always increases. There's no freeze on it.
There's no freeze?
You can't put a freeze on it. What are you gonna freeze? If you freeze those expenditures along with pay increases for teachers and administrators, if you freeze that, then you've got to trim other programs throughout the school district to be able to make up for the increases that naturally occur from those things, because every year you got about a 2.5% increase.
Dave, what's the property tax and school tax where you are? Is it super high?
Yes.
It is. Okay.
No, it's cheap.
Well, no.
He's in Jersey, for God's sake.
I know he's in Jersey. But
you know what your sandwich costs in Jersey?
Yeah, because he went to the Shake Shack and he taunted me.
Shake Shack's great.
Yeah. $25 burger, drink, and fries.
Don't tell Frank that, because he'll tell you how cheap his prices are.
Probably $22, I bet you.
Let's see. I didn't get a shake. I just get a lemonade. I get a cheeseburger, a double cheeseburger deal, bacon, fries, and like an iced tea kind of deal.
$16, $17, got to be.
No, it's more than that. I'll tell you right now.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up.
Yeah, please. I want to see it. I want to see it. I want to hear this.
You're just going to irritate them. Don't.
I want to hear this
up.
inflation cost right now. Today I sold slices at my store. Any slice in the window with any topping on it, $2 each.
$2.
I had to raise it from $1.50, and people are having a coronary.
They have a coronary. I know. Well, the best was the comedy club.
Okay, you ready?
Wanted the water.
Yeah.
That's the funniest thing I've heard.
What was it? Okay. All right. So I got a double shack burger with bacon.
That sounds good.
It was good. Fries.
Like it.
And
Are they the coated fries? Are they the coated fries? Like
they do, but I just get the regular stuff. Unless
skin on. So they got skin on fries.
My son wants to get all the crazy stuff. I don't.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Sunset lemonade. Okay.
Sunset. That's a passionate name right there. Sunset lemonade.
$2 just for the name.
Yep.
So the total was $21.96. I tipped
Holy
him $2.20.
fuck!
You could have got a pizza for that, right?
Yeah,
a cheese pizza.
Yeah, could have used some topping on it.
$2.20, and then I a tax of $1.45. $25.61 total.
But I bet it was worth every penny.
It was fantastic, but the problem was, it is really. I mean, listen.
You're $50 for you and your son.
Oh yeah, because he'll get the same kind of thing. I guess.
Oh, he will.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So you're $50 for two people. So let's say you work whatever, you've got a job in the country, right? And you're making $20 an hour. That sounds fantastic, right? $20 an hour.
It's not.
Right. So you work a 40-hour week, you're making $800. After the taxes, it's $675, maybe $650. Yeah. Okay, so now that means that you're going to spend almost 10% of your weekly paycheck on 2 burgers and 2 fries and 2 drinks for you and your son.
10% of your weekly paycheck.
Of course it is. $50. If you're making $650, it's about 7.5%.
Yeah, Dave, didn't your kid go to school today?
No, I didn't get him today. Frank.
You're saying if he
if he did,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
No,
that's what
just throwing it out there. No, okay.
Yeah,
so now times that by 4 people, a family of 4, and that's $100. No, that's $100.
At Shake Shack?
Yeah, now you're spending 15% of your paycheck just for one meal.
How about this, Frank? This will blow your mind.
I don't agree with that. I disagree with that.
One of the best pizza places from my hometown actually still has a reasonable price for the pie. We were just there. I was up there bringing my son to the doctor. Bergen County. It was $16. The place is great.
That's a great price. 18-inch big pie, hand tossed.
Big pie, hand tossed.
Yeah, that's a great price.
Great price. Okay, they've been there forever, since 1940s.
Yeah.
1940s.
Oh yeah, they've been around forever. And they've never changed the menu. Never. It's amazing. You get Zeppelis there. The Zeppelis are unbelievable.
Oh.
They make great sandwiches too. Anyway, calzones.
Do
you have any Zeppelis here?
No.
Okay.
But here's my point. So the place down by here where I live now, the best pizza place is right around 2 minutes from my house. Very good. But not better than that place that I went, where I grew up, because North Jersey is a little bit better pizza. If I get a pie, same pie, $30. $30.
That should be illegal.
30.
I really think
I'm at for a cheap.
You can go there. When we first moved here, we used to go. It was like 20, maybe. We used to go there a couple times a week.
Right.
Now it's like a special thing. Like parents come over. Like,
right.
I think in the long run, well, they're hurt by inflation, but in the long run, it's hurting these businesses. You want to charge that amount of money, and the inflation and the pricing of things. It's hurting those businesses, because what was something like, listen, when I was younger, I get pizza at least once a week, maybe twice.
No, you can't.
Now we're going to go to this place once a month.
Right.
So it has to hurt them in the long run. You know what I mean? They have a great score from Dave Portnoy, like 8-1 or something. So,
he's
initially it boosted their business. They boosted their prices. It boosted their business. They boosted. Yeah. Now it's 3 years later. Now people are like,
yeah.
I mean, they're still busy. They're still busy because it's a well-known place and there's not a lot of great pizza places.
From the 40s, yeah. Well,
no, not this place is not from the 40s. The place.
You're talking about the expensive place, right?
But see, my correlation is it all has to do with the increase in minimum wage.
Oh, it's killing everyone.
That is the total factor
Killing
where my prices jumped through the roof the last couple of years because of that.
Yes,
because it's
can't afford it.
It's an assault on trying to make it work in business, because every year you have to adjust for an increase across the board for every employee, not just the ones you hire. So for me, I mean, flour goes up, flour goes down. Sauce goes up, sauce goes down a little bit. Cheese is up, cheese is down. Those things fluctuate, so you can sort of know where your baseline is for the year. The labor, nothing fluctuates. You know it's going up. There's no baseline. It's up. New York State, they're
every year. It's
every year it will continue to go up. Jesus. That is the mandate from New York State now. A minimum wage will continue to go up year after year after year.
What's it? 15 right now?
It's 15. It's 15.50 right now, I think, if I'm correct. And I may be off with it, but that's the minimum line base.
Start a business. I mean, how do you survive?
The only ones that can start a business are either ones that get grants and have funding coming from third parties or investors,
like Mohawk Valley Edge,
right? Or if you're going business with yourself. That's why so many people want to be on a laptop. They want to be doing things online. Yeah. They want to be Amazon sellers. They want to be TikTok sellers,
right?
Because it's just them, a laptop, and they go to work.
Right.
Have to pay anybody.
Owner operator. You don't have to worry about
exactly.
So
exactly.
It's one of these things where I think from a business standpoint, the thing that stinks about it is if you want to just be you doing the work, basically you're paying yourself as a job, basically as an owner operator. You can make good money. You're going to be capped at how much you're going to be able to make because you're limited by yourself, unless you create some software or something. And the second you go and hire people to expand, your costs rise so much that because of that, it becomes, you really, like Frank said, you need to get a certain amount of funding in order for it to be incrementally worth it for you, because you're better off just being an owner operator if you can't really make the jump. If your business can't make that leap, whether it's funded or you have a product that's so good that you can make that leap and build in a sizable enough margin, you can't make that leap. You're better off just doing it being like an owner operator. But that's part of the problem. So what you end up having is tons and tons of owner operators, right?
Oh, a million of them.
And then just big corporations. So who's really in control? The big corporations.
Corporations are in control.
Right, because you have so many. They're not even mom and pop shops anymore. They're just mom or pop.
Right.
They're not even, they're not even like a family business anymore. It's like a person, maybe two.
With limited hours. We purchased a property, and there's a bagel shop there. And
you purchased Grapevine?
Bagel shop.
Well, it says Grapevine.
That's because I had to call someone.
Oh, okay.
I purchased, my father purchased Bagel Grove. So we have we own the property.
Yeah.
So the new owners, since COVID on, they've changed their hours. They're only open like 4 days a week, only 4 or 5 hours a day. They're 25 hours a week. Number one, they did it because they can't find labor to work more than that.
They can't pay.
Number two, they found that the most profitable hours are those 5 hours that they're doing. And now number three, they do it because now they have a family life. The husband and wife flop off and on, a day here, a day or there, and they can go in and stay with their kid, and they're making enough money in that it's worth their while. So
work-life balance.
I think, but you were talking about corporations, Dave, about them taking over. This is the thing that Donald Trump is doing as part of his rechanging the format and the formula of how American business works. So within the last month, he has brought in probably almost $4 billion in committed investment into the United States. I mean, from the UAE alone, $1.4 trillion over 10 years. Saudi Arabia, $600 billion they're bringing into this country to invest and develop. Apple is going to spend $500 billion within the confines of the U.S. instead of being overseas, right, like they normally are. NVIDIA, $100 billion, right? So Johnson & Johnson, $55 billion. Eli Lilly, $27 billion. all committed.
That's crazy.
All committed to this country and to now. That's because obviously you have terror threats.
Yes.
If you do your business inside this country, you have your factories and your production, all that. There are zero tariffs on you.
Good to go.
Plus, you will have the lowest tax rate that you can find. We will have one of the lowest tax rates in the world if he can get it down to 15%. I mean, you're talking Germany has a 30% tax rate.
Yeah.
France has a 25% tax rate.
Well, you said Italy's high too.
Very high. All the European unions are very high, and they have to be high because they're more of a socialist functioning society, and they have to fund the society. The only way to fund it is with more and more money.
Yeah.
Now, we're going to bring in those trillions of dollars to this country, right? And we're going to cut maybe $1 trillion or $2 trillion off of it. This country may have a budget next year that is in a surplus, a yearly surplus. No. Not like we've cleaned up the whole budget. We got 36 trillion in debt.
Right.
But we could come out with a trillion surplus or $2 trillion surplus for that year.
Wow.
So the things that are happening are correct. What I hate about this is what I'm going through right now that's tormenting me. And I don't know why.
It's not me.
No, not you.
Oh, good.
So I have a good friend. He's knowledgeable. I respect him. I love his angles. But it's more of everything that this administration is doing, and especially Donald Trump, is racist. So they take the racist angle.
Hitler, that's all.
They take the race, not Hitler, not Hitler.
Everyone says,
but he has a specific against brown and black Americans with the decisions that he's making, from the Department of Education to eliminating DEI initiatives that were set to today the Black Lives Matters Park in Washington D.C. has been taken down. They're working on that now. It's a 4-day process to take it down.
They're taking down.
Yeah, the government, the federal government decided they're going to take that Black Lives Matter Park.
That's a bit much. I don't think you should take the monument down.
Right. But so what I'm saying is now, the point made by this gentleman is, how can you defend someone who is so racist towards certain ethnicities in this country? How can you defend him, even though he's doing good things on one side? How do you defend him on the other side, and then say that you are a friend to the African American or Hispanic communities? Right. I'm freaked out.
Dave, are you a friend to the African American and brown community?
I believe I am. Yes.
Okay.
I'm also frozen.
Yes, you are.
You're
frozen.
Always frozen.
You're
always frozen.
Yeah.
I've told you need to get an extender, but you don't listen.
It's because you had to pay $25 for a burger, fries, and a lemonade.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
No,
you go with 4 people, it's $100.
Right.
To Shake Shack.
Right. So that's my dilemma right now. That's what I'm going through personally, trying to figure this all out.
Can you cut staff?
Cut staff where?
Your staffing. Can you cut?
I'm talking about the racist issue and the angle with my friend.
Oh, well, you're racist. That's okay.
Well, no.
Well, so what is what's the debate with you're having a debate? Okay.
He thinks Trump's racist.
Everything that I'll post about Trump, or not so much Trump, but just the administration doing, things that in business. See, I'm a fiscal conservative.
You're dollars and cents.
To me, the only way that racism is not hatred. Racism is fear. It's fear. Okay. Yes. It's fear because we don't, most of the country, except for, I guess, Atlanta, does not socialize with the opposite races, right?
Oh, I try.
They're all together. No, you don't have enough contact with them either.
I do.
Until let's say blacks and Hispanics, just put on, until they live next door to me, until we watch each other's kids when someone has to do something, until we have cookouts with each other, right?
I think we need to do that.
No, we don't. Where are you doing that in your
move?
Yes, my neighbor.
And we'll move a brown.
No, that doesn't work that way. I'm just saying is we don't have enough social interaction with each other,
right,
to be able to overcome the fears.
Right.
Now, granted, that social interaction is helped and it's also burdened by economic inequality. So when everyone is on a more fair playing field economically, then I think racism goes away.
Oh, of course.
You understand?
Yes.
The more money you have, the better situation you can put yourself in as far as life, right?
Right.
I don't know about that.
No, you don't think so? I think.
All right. Well, let's look at a place where there's a history of racism.
Yeah.
And then
like Roanoke?
No, and where there's been a shift of
Newark.
No, South Africa.
Well, that doesn't count. That's a country.
Well, let's look at that. Was originally an apartheid country, right?
Isn't that Mandela? He used to live there,
Nelson
right?
Mandela was the president. Nelson Mandela was incarcerated in South Africa as
for a long time,
conscientious objector.
So, for a long time, white people were in charge of South Africa.
Right. Well, it was British, right?
Yes, it was British owned, but South Africa.
So smart there.
Then after Mandela, Africans took over, and are the majority. They've always been the majority of the population, but they control the economics, the political structure for the most part.
Oh wow!
Yeah. So
I didn't know that.
So now financially, there's probably still a lot of holdover financial success with respect to the whites, maybe because of apartheid. They're the dominant groups and stuff like farming and those kind of things. The issue is blacks are in power in South Africa, but they have not been able to get economic success across the whole entire country. So what's happened is, so you would say, okay, now the top people in power probably have economic success, I would guess, but the masses do not. So what there is there's like a whole contention thing against the white farmer and the white person who might have maybe more money. I don't know.
In South Africa.
Wow. And now it's a situation where originally there was racism from the whites among the blacks with apartheid. It's actually now flipped. Where now there's tremendous amount of blacks towards the whites.
But that's how it is here.
But isn't that, again, it goes back to, you said the majority of blacks there may not have financial opportunity. Some do in higher ups.
They're in power.
The one in power, right? Well, yeah, no, I understand.
Power. They're in control of the government. They're in control
of the economy.
I understand that. No, but I'm still saying
that control gives you power is the single biggest thing that gives you the opportunity for economic success. Period.
Right, but you're asking a generation. I mean, maybe they're only one generation out from actually having this kind of control. You're asking a generational shift in the thought process of education and labor and finances, which I don't think they could handle that right now. That's why you're almost taking you're taking the food out of their mouths because they don't know how to produce anything. They don't know how to make anything, and they're being dependent on the government.
Where's Mandela stand on this?
He's dead.
What?
He's dead.
Nelson Mandela's dead?
Yes.
Yes. I think if you look at the history of people in general, most people come from their own sector of the world. America is one of the only is the only place,
the melting pot,
that has successfully attempted to melt all the different ethnicities and races and try to make it work.
Right.
We are wildly more successful than any other country at it. But there are fundamental issues. Obviously, there are within certain communities levels of success. The biggest single indicator of success of any ethnicity in America is whether they have a two-parent household or not.
Really?
Yes, the majority.
If you're married, or a two-parent household.
Okay. The ones that have a two-parent household, the number one most successful ethnic group in America is Indian Asians. Okay, so from India and those areas, maybe Pakistan,
because the two incomes, yeah.
Number one most successful, they have like something like 80% marriage rate, right? Then number two is Chinese Americans in that area of Asia, which is like 70%, okay, of married. Number three is white Americans, okay, at like 50% or something.
We're 50,
dropping radically.
Yes.
And number 4 is Hispanic, which is like in the 40s. I think it's something in the 40s. And then African American is like, I want to say 30%.
And what do these numbers equate to?
What does that equate to?
Financial success, he said.
In that order is the financial success, okay, of the actual
economy or the ethnicity.
Indian, they have the highest amount of
because they stay married.
The number 2 is Chinese Americans. Number 3 is
the white
Caucasians. Number 4 is Hispanic. And the prediction is that Hispanics have are holding a lot firmer in two-parent household that they could pass.
Well, because they just want to have more kids.
Pass Caucasian Americans.
Yeah, right. They reproduce faster.
Eventually, no, not for reproduction. As far as the family unit,
because they're going to have more kids.
They're going to have a chance to pass Caucasian Americans because Caucasian Americans have a radical drop in the rate of, and African Americans obviously also do, and they're
with divorce.
Financially, yes. So I think that's very interesting.
That's very interesting.
It's very interesting, the correlation there. So
So then we've got to ask the whites, Hispanics, and blacks to catch up to the Indians and the Chinese.
That's correct.
Right. But who
was number 1 30 years ago?
30 years ago, who would have been number 1? Let's see.
It would have been white people. Because it was forbidden by the Catholic Church.
Caucasians had like a 75% rate or something.
Yeah,
because Catholics didn't allow divorce.
But again, my whole point is on that is that if let's say if those numbers got up higher, then we would all be sort of on a fair playing field as far as being able to
socioeconomic
to be next to each other. That's why to me racism is fear. We don't know what we don't eat for African Americans and Hispanics.
Financially, if you have a family unit, you're gonna have a better chance for financial success. No matter who you are,
right. But still, we have to talk about the merging. I'm talking about the melding of those races together. So we function together. We socialize together. So we eat and drink. We're not right now. We don't drink their drink. We don't eat their food. We don't dance their dance. We don't talk their talk.
What does that have to do with financial success, though? That's zero to do with it.
Well, it does because
black people just to marry white women. No. Then you'll have.
I'll use a good example. And one group that wasn't in there, I don't know why, because maybe they don't separate out Jewish Americans. Okay. I'm going to give you a group of people who probably. I'm not saying they should do this, but like if you got to like Orthodox Jewish people, they don't exactly socialize or spread the money around. They keep it within their own group for the most part.
Right.
And they're radically financial. They might be number 1 if they concluded them as a group, right?
Well, so are the Amish.
Or 2. They might be 2. Well, 1 or 2.
Those are groups that don't want to socialize. They want to be left alone and distance from the rest of the world. I'm talking about myself as a white person.
You want to socialize with black people?
I do now, but in a very indirect way. It's just a courteous way or an athletic way, or once every so often I'll see people out and we'll have a drink and all that. But I don't have but if they lived next door to me.
Well,
so in other words, if an African American family and a Hispanic family can afford the housing where I live, okay, and now they're in a community with all the rest of us,
you'll all be
now
friends.
We all hang out, we all talk, we all eat, we're all socialized. Come on over, watch our kids, go to school, want to go to we'll go out to the cookout together.
That builds relationship.
Right, and so that takes away the fear of the unknown of a race of people that you may not be socializing with because of financial means, because they're not here. But there's no one in this community. We have
all right, so I'm going to give you the counterpoint on this. So is it the fact that you're no longer racist, okay? Or is it the fact that you have a person that's in the same financial category as you?
I'm definitely racist.
So you trust the fact that someone's in the same neighborhood as you, not their race per se. And I that's kind of my point of it all is that there's a social dissidence between people that are financially higher than other people. So if there is a African American, an Hispanic person, a white person, they all live in the same neighborhood financially and they're all wealthy. I think my belief is that there's probably very, very little difference in the attitudes that they have towards things. Okay. They may have some few cultural things that are different, but as far as overall attitude, and there's a higher level of trust. If you make, let's say, $200,000 a year, and the person who lives next door to you makes $200,000 a year, they probably, in general, have some trust similarly of each other because they're already near.
Right.
I don't think someone who like if you lived in like where I grew up, okay, the areas where people were poor, there was a general distrust of everybody else that was poor among the other people that were poor, right? Because everyone was a squirrel trying to get a nut, no matter who they were, black, white, or indifferent.
I got to say though, I'm just thinking in my head right now. Let's say in an impoverished community, really impoverished. And poor whites live with blacks and with Hispanics all together. All that, the whites can sort of understand the everyday occurrences of minorities because they're there with them, right next to them. And maybe it's not a total financial thing, but they understand. And obviously with minimal finances, they understand the struggles that are going on. They understand, you know how hard it is to make it out of where they are. So they can relate more maybe to a minority community or minority people in that area. Whereas for me,
that's my point. It's financially based. Okay. It's financially based.
I agree, but that's what I'm saying.
White or black person. Well, again, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying if more minorities were higher up on the income scale and we're balancing ourselves out, I would see more people in this community. I am fortunate in my life where I live. I don't have a gated community and all that, but I'm in a nice area and then the housing costs money. It does. And there are not enough minorities that make that kind of income level that maybe I myself or my neighbors make.
Right.
And you're right. Who's in my neighborhood? There's Indians. There's Indians in my neighborhood.
They're doctors.
They're right.
Okay, so are you worried about them?
Worried about them? No.
Are you friends with them?
Yeah, I'm friends with them.
Oh,
okay. It's because financially you're in the same category. You're in the relatively same category. If they were black, if they were Hispanic, if they were Indian, if they were Chinese.
Right. But I'm just saying,
live in your community.
If I had no money and I lived in the ghetto, all right, then
Section 8 housing,
whatever it is, then I would be affected by more minorities. I'd be living with more minorities, and I would understand that. And so I would be able to relate more, and I would actually probably see their angle much easier than they would see our angle up here. So but most of my thing is that's what racism is. There's no fucking money.
I think
that money disparages people because I don't walk around. Look at children. Children don't walk around when they're 4, 3, or 5 years old. Racism is learned. So how's it learned? Well, it's learned either by the parents or by the area where they live, by an ethnic trait, ethnicity trait, whatever it may be. But bottom line, it's learned. So to me, the way things are learned by where you socialize and live every day. Well, I live in a white community. I don't see many black people, right? When I do, years ago, Dave, would the black guy be walking down our street, like at the border from Utica to Hartford, people like, oh my God, what's happening? Who is that person? What's going on? So I understand there's so when someone looks at it with a racist angle on everything, I get it, but to me, it gets old after a while because it's like crying wolf. You know what I mean? Everything goes back to, it's racist. Well, Trump did this. It's racist.
Easy
the administration did this. They want to get rid of the Department of Education. Well, they give money to minorities. It's racist.
I think that's ridiculous on most of these things. I think the problem is when you introduce racism for things there is not racism.
Exactly.
Claim it's racism.
You're race baiting.
You start to create a situation where people don't know what is racist and what isn't. Okay, like what is you could use what is anti-Semitic and what isn't. What is anti this or what isn't. Right. It's important to, when there is actually something that is racist, to really racist, to be able to understand and acknowledge what that is, not some of the things like we're going to get rid of DEI. That's racist. No, well, DEI was racist in its
DEI was racist to the
nature,
minorities.
Right. So affirmative action, you could argue there was benefits to affirmative action.
Right.
Yeah, but
there were negatives to affirmative action, but it wasn't DEI. Okay.
No, DEI was
action was saying, hey, this group, more towards what Frank was, this group was in general economically disadvantaged. We're going to try and create opportunities where they have an opportunity to succeed with affirmative action, right? So, much more scholastic based. What the problem with DEI is it was
forced
job based. It was this person should get a job over this person.
You get this job
without having similar level of qualifications versus trying to create opportunities for minorities. So it took like affirmative action and like kind of turned it more on its head, almost put it on steroids, and created a whole different thing out of it. But I do like look if someone yells a racial slur, that's racism, right? That's a form of racism. If someone purposely keeps down somebody because of they have a certain race, that's racism. Purposely keeping them down. Like, I'm not going to hire this qualified person because they're black or Spanish or whatever, and this person is qualified. That's racism. Right. But getting rid of a program that props up another group over another is that's not racism against an ethnic group. That's saying we're going to value merit based. So that's one example of like, if we're going to cry racism about that, you're beginning to me muddy the waters on what racism is. And I think we need to know what actual racism is. Like, there's a difference between, to me, there's a big difference between someone who does racist acts or racist things versus someone who may not be educated on another race as well. Going to your point, they didn't grow up with them.
Yeah, the fear.
They're racist. They just don't know about the that group as well. Okay, so that you could argue it's a form of like maybe even ignorance, but it's not necessarily racist. But if someone then goes and yells racial slurs, well, it doesn't matter whether they don't live with them or not. That's racist. You know what I mean? So those are kind of lines that I think that the left is trying to blur all of this together as one thing. I think it's very, very dangerous. And, we don't want anybody, we don't want people blurring all the lines together. And then all of a sudden, being able to, being racist to another group does not mean that you're not racist because they're not a minority. The whole thing about like, I can't be racist towards white people because they're in the majority. That's nonsense. Like, you can be discriminatory against a white person. You could be discriminatory against a black person. And the whole argument that it's like, oh, well, they're economically advantaged, so you can't be racist against them is complete and utter BS. It
doesn't hold water.
It doesn't hold water.
I told you at UConn, I took the only white racism class offered in the nation.
And that's crazy.
Noel Kasnev took it. It was
crazy.
The most fascinating class I ever took.
It was the most what?
Most fascinating class I ever took. Because he showed me that I'm a racist. He showed me I was just innately born a racist. And it wasn't my fault. It's just how we are as white people. It's passed on.
And that's exactly my point.
And we're racist.
Exactly what Trump is getting rid of the funding for.
Yes.
So You are not going to get funding for those.
For the white racism class.
You don't fight racism by being racist against another group.
Did you see the
much
meeting?
as you'd like to be upset with them about it, and I understand that, okay, you cannot fight racism by being racist.
Did you see the meeting today that they had a press conference in the one of the meeting rooms there in the White House where all the secretaries from the different departments were there, and they were talking about going through and ripping apart the federal budget, and he turns it over and he says, Trump's like, a lot of terrible things are happening with the money and all that. I mean, he passes to the agriculture department. So the Secretary of Agriculture goes, yeah, we broke down several things today, and here's what we threw out right away because it was just so egregiously crazy. $300,000 grant to California and $300,000 grant to the state of New York for gay and queer farmers to study the way to those they got rid of those two grants today.
We should become gay farmers. So
I didn't know there were gay farmers. I mean, I buy my cucumbers and tomatoes, I don't really ask the guy, hey, are you gay?
No, I'm just saying you and I need to become gay farmers.
Well, now we'll do it together with you, maybe separate. But what I'm saying is they eliminated these. They're like fun study programs. So they eliminated in a college in Missouri. They eliminated a $600,000 grant for the studies of menstrual cycles of trans women. $600,000 grant for
trans women have menstrual cycles?
Well, that's what they were studying. That's why they needed the money.
Well, I don't think they can.
I'm just saying. Zero.
It's a lot of money.
Goes along the first one goes along to my point, right? If I don't. If you want to give grants to farmers, great. Okay.
Yeah, but they shouldn't have to be gay or trans or whatever.
Why not?
Why can't just give them the regular farmers?
Just give farmers who cares if they're gay? If they're gay, they could apply for the grant. If they're trans, they could apply for the grant. If they're white, they can apply for the grant.
I agree.
If black, they could apply for. Everybody could apply for the grant.
Yeah.
Now, here's what would be racist. Want an example of would be racist? This would be racist.
It is. You're giving grants only to homosexuals.
All these people apply for the grant, and I, as the grantor, the person giving the money out, say, "Oh, I see a guy's name, and it seems like it's black. I ain't giving him the money." That's racist. Okay.
Right.
So that's racist. Or if I'm an African American and I'm a grantor and I decide I see a guy's name is John
Smith.
John Duffy. He's an Irishman.
Yeah.
I'm not giving him the grant because he's an Irishman.
No soup for you.
Can we talk about the other thing this week that blows my mind?
You know what they should do? Before you go to that,
I didn't get to talk about that.
I want to say one more thing on that.
Am I a racist though?
No,
probably.
Who knows?
I was just making sure.
If you wanted to do those grants, you want to go and award it properly. You have the names of the people and where they're from, unless it's a certain fertile ground that you need or whatever. Stripped off the application and look what the application is and what they need, and you decide blindly who it is, and then you don't have to worry about whether the human being.
That's what colleges do with blind financial aid. A lot of them do that.
I think that's a good way of doing it. That way you're purely.
So it's merit based.
It's merit based, right?
Yeah.
And that way you don't have to worry about it. And if all Hispanic people got the grant, well, you did it blind based, right? Or if it doesn't matter who got it, they got it all off merit based, right? So
I agree with that.
I mean, I think that has to be more and more introduced. Sorry, Frank, you were about to.
No, I don't care. That's a good point. I just wanted to talk about the Weekend at Bernie's tour. So Bernie Sanders touring the country with Ocasio-Cortez.
Why is he doing that?
Well, the Democratic Party is lost right now.
Oh, they're very.
They have no.
And
they have
Kamala's running again.
Right, they have no base and they have no leadership.
Maybe I should run.
So Bernie Sanders is going on tour with Ocasio-Cortez, and they're going to major cities around the country. And they're doing these big rallies, these big fight the power rallies.
But he's old.
It doesn't matter.
He's just
fight
old.
The power like Public Enemy.
That's right.
Are they playing the music?
I don't know if they're playing the music. Maybe. Who knows?
Music. I might go. I love Public Enemy.
That'd be worth it. But so here's the funny thing that I noted, and it's come out now in a few different media sources.
Isn't he Jewish too?
He is. Okay. So
although he's not
practicing.
No. He just sounds like it. But so it does sound like it. So they're garnishing, they're saying 20 to 35,000 people at these events, right? They're open air outdoor events. And the funny thing is right now is that people have done investigations, like conservatives have done. They're looking into how they're getting all these people at these rallies and all that.
They're paying them.
Right, they're paid actors. So, but here's how they found it.
I got to get in on it.
Here's how they found out about it: geofencing.
That's I told you geofencing works.
Right, it worked to catch whoever's doing this. So, bottom line, the people that were at this Colorado rally, basically their cell phone signatures,
if you have the location
were traced to 9 other
locations,
Democratic rallies. There were locations where they either had the rallies or where they had some sort of Kamala Harris Democrat, right? Yeah. So bottom line, what this is these are traveling actors. They're traveling around the country, city to city, wherever Bernie and AOC show up.
I wonder what they get.
And it's the same people, right? I wonder how do they get paid? Who's paying them?
Well, out of the DNC.
Well, if that's the case and that ever came out, and you can find that on paper.
They launder it,
right?
Sure.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
The shell company.
But bottom line, so that's the big hype this week is, oh my God, people love AOC, and she may be the new voice. She has 10% approval rating. And that's the highest out of 4 or 5 other people that they put up there.
Well, there's
for the
nobody else.
Party.
They're lost.
There's nothing.
Yeah.
And so, they tagged her along with Bernie because Bernie's the hapless old goofy guy, like, the taxes, everything's too high,
Yeah.
So now they tag her.
Bernie's like Larry David.
They're trying to make her now mold her. Into the face of the Democratic Party. But the problem is she's so far left.
Dumb.
She's so far left.
She's a communist.
That she's going to be not a communist. She's so far left. She's not going to be able to draw in any of the moderate Democrats.
She has no charisma at all.
But for the Democrats to think that people can't find out that these are paid actors going around, there's no support for this crap. There isn't. Even the far left ones don't want to go there because they don't trust anybody anymore.
Where are these rallies at?
The last one was in Colorado.
Okay. Will they come east?
I don't know.
Oh, I want to go.
Listen, they're going to go to wherever it's friendly.
I want to go. I'm going to ask for autographs for
But that's what's blowing my mind right now is how these parties coordinate. Such great coordination and such hatred.
Yeah,
hatred
to the right
for anything that doesn't go along with them. At some point in time, even Bernie Sanders agreed Trump's done a couple of things good. He said the border security, and immigration, and
the tariffs and the economy.
No, not tariffs. He didn't say anything like that. He doesn't like the economy and all that. I forget what there were 2 things that he agreed that Trump did a good job of. But the problem is the Democratic Party can't do any of that. They can't stand up.
Yeah, what did Joe Biden do?
They can't stand up in Congress for a kid who has cancer.
Did he do anything in 4 years?
Who?
Joe Biden.
Well, Jay spent a shitload of money.
Trump has done more in 1 month than Joe Biden did in 4 years.
Trump is tearing apart. Listen, what is happening economically, what Trump is doing is going to be a success. Yeah. I have to say it's going to be a success. It's going to take a little bit of time. I would give it a 2-year window. We need 2 years to basically feel the effects of it. But between the threat of tariffs or the implementation of tariffs, right? Between the cleaning up of all the waste in the federal government and getting rid of a ton of federal employees, you're going to lower, you're going to save $1 trillion right there. And between bringing other businesses back into this country to be able to create jobs and to spend inside this country, I mean, that is the winning formula, I think, for great economic success in this country. Once people feel, and listen, all the deregulation, you're going to see gas has gone down.
Yes,
and it's going to start to collapse. You'll see gas go down even more now. Right? As soon as the drilling rights are reopened and they can start going into other areas. Food costs.
Yeah,
food costs have come down a little bit.
There's no bird flu.
Labor costs have not come down, but food costs have come down.
Will.
Right, labor costs will never come down.
No, they're just
labor costs will continue to increase each year, but food costs have come down. The eggs have come down a little bit more. Certain pricing has come down on food. Now you see, we talked about the $25 hamburger, right, Dave?
Oh,
bottom line,
Shake Shack
$25 hamburger is not because of the cost of the burger.
No,
it's not the cost of the bun.
It's the profit.
It's the labor.
They got to make profit.
It's the labor.
Yeah.
It's the labor. That's all.
The overhead so high.
Right. So bottom line, you're getting inflation reduced. You're getting fuel. You're getting energy. Now that's going to be reduced to the point where trucking is going to cost less. Shipping is going to cost less. Everything's going to cost you a little less.
And solar power is going to be more prominent.
Solar power is not going to be prominent.
Oh.
But I think all these things are a winning formula. It's being put together in the right way, but it's being put together so fast that people are pissed on the other side. They're pissed because,
Biden did nothing in 4 years.
They're going to miss something left or right. They're going to miss something left or right.
Oh, nobody's perfect.
Right. But by missing something, that's what's going to get picked at by the left. They're going to find something, that's going to pick that.
Let them pick.
So let them pick. But I'm telling you right now, if it's given time, the implementation of what's going on, I think, and Trump, by picking his own cabinet this time around, he picked every person, and he wasn't in a rush because he picked every person that he knows he can trust. So with the trust that he has from these guys and women, along with their goal, I'm telling you, it's going to be a lot of success.
I like the press secretary. She's kind of hot.
Yeah.
I had a question. So the Columbia University thing.
Yeah.
I read about that. It just seems kind of crazy. It says a group of people continued marching, circling around the main gate of Columbia University on Monday afternoon, banging loud drums and chanting, "Long live Infida." I don't know what that means. Their actions come shortly after Columbia University professors held what they called an emergency vigil in response to the college's agreement to implement a host of policy changes, including overhauling its rules for protests and conducting an immediate review of its Middle Eastern Studies department following demands from the Trump administration. The group gathered outside the university gates holding signs that read, "Defend democracy," and "Defend teaching," and "Columbia, fight back." Though the arrest of prominent anti-Israeli activists and legal permanent resident Mahmoud Khalil by federal...
He's going back. They just caught him now lying on his visa.
Yeah.
He lied on his visa. He said that he was not part of any organization
he's part of it.
He's an Algerian. He's part of that United Nations Palestinian Development Organization, whatever it is, and they've got ties very straight to Hamas.
How did this Columbia thing all get started? It's gone on for a while. Yeah. Why did they let it go on for a while? And now it's finally
because Columbia is a bastion of liberal thought.
Yes, because they're an Ivy League.
It's a bastion of liberal thought. So they feel that the protest is good. Protest is fine as long as it's peaceful, not harmful. Yeah. If it's peaceful protest, it's fine. But when you start threatening students that are walking by, when you start locking up students inside the rooms,
and janitors,
when you start locking up janitors that you feel that they're outing you and turning you in, and when you fight the law, when the law tries to come, and the law couldn't come on campus,
they should have just shot him with the beanbag.
That's what that would have helped a lot.
Well, the rubber bullets and beanbags work.
What it is this: it's liberal thought out of control. That's
way out of control.
Out of control. When liberal thought gets out of control, that's what you have. You have a mess.
At Columbia University.
Well, there's other universities as well. Remember, there's over 40 universities on a federal list right now that are going to be taking federal money away.
Yes, they're not going to get the federal funding.
Because they have the same problem with anti-Israel thought, anti-Jewish thought. Talk about racism. Talk about racism.
That's as racist as you get.
Those campuses are turning out to be racist campus.
Dave, like Columbia's president, the board of directors, like they don't do anything. Their hierarchy, they don't have a say.
That was part of the problem,
They just let it go. Just let them go. Burn, baby, burn.
They let it go.
God.
They didn't want the police there. They wouldn't let on-campus security start to facilitate arrests. And I believe that the Columbia and UPenn and Harvard, I
Right.
believe those nut jobs supported it. They're nuts.
Of course they did. They're all liberal.
The fucking president of Columbia.
They're communists. They're all communists.
Is on the low end. At the low end, doesn't like Jewish people. On the high end,
oh wow!
On the high end, if I was saying the high end,
how could you not like Jewish people? They pay everything.
It's just a complete psychopath. The way that these presidents operated, they're blue-haired, fucking overeducated,
like in Worcester, yes,
living in ivory tower, don't understand how it works. So corrupted thought process in their minds. But you know what? It's one of these strange things where money talks. Money gets removed.
It does.
Surprise.
And then everything goes.
Surprise. Yeah. We'll clean it up.
We'll do whatever you want. No. Please don't take our money. Please don't take our money.
Wait a minute. I thought liberals don't care about money.
No, it's just values.
I thought money is not the most important
thing. It's principles, values. We don't care about money. We just care about our principles.
They're full of shit. You know what it's like? It's like some college coach trying to tell me right now that they're in there to try and build men in college football. Okay.
Right. Yeah, that's Rob Ambrose said that. There's no way that's happening. Yeah, they're not building anything. Of course
it's not happening. How can it happen in a world of what's going on? That's out the window. The most successful people, the most successful people are going to understand that that's not what's going on. And the ones who say it are really just full of shit. And that's what's going on with the Ivy League presidents. Not all of them, but most of them. And they are now getting held to task by Trump. Trump is holding them to task. Trump is making sure that they are treating all of their students fairly, okay?
Yes.
All of their students fairly. And they're looking into some of these actually racist courses.
Very racist.
I can't believe that course you took this and listen.
White racism?
That was in the early 2000s?
I loved it. Yeah. There were only 2 offered in the entire country, and I got one of them. I was so lucky.
They were testing it out. That's why there were only 2.
No. It had gone on for years, but I was lucky to get into it. I really wanted it. And being a soc major, I just wanted to learn why I was a racist, and they told me. So it was
now,
good.
when you sat there, I'm curious. When you sat there,
they showed a video of an apartment and people trying to rent this apartment. They showed a couple white families and how they were treated. They showed a couple black families and how they were treated. And the black families were treated completely different, completely disrespected, and basically run out.
They had Steve. They're like, Steve.
No, Leon, I was watching.
Leon over there. I want you to call a Negro now. Call a Negro now, Steve. Racist. The racist.
And and then the other one was a car. They showed like a Mercedes.
Yeah.
White family goes to buy a Mercedes.
Right.
And the car dealer person was great with them. 2 families, and then the 2 black families that went to look to the Mercedes, they just got brushed off,
right?
Because they didn't think they could afford it or didn't want to waste their time,
right? Well, listen.
So that just shows that innately we're racist.
Listen, deep down,
I'm racist.
Hip-hop. They show World Star Hip Hop also.
World Star guys getting bitch slapped across the side.
And I thanked them afterwards. I said, this was the most enlightening class. It opened my eyes. I apologize to you.
How many white people were in the class?
There were a good amount.
Really?
Yeah. Well, because it was we needed so many.
You need credits. Yeah. So how many? What was I going to say? I lost the train of thought.
Are fucked up.
Yeah. How many were they all racist then? Were all the white people there racist?
Oh yeah, he told us we were all racist.
Oh,
that was his first sentence.
Okay,
I'll never forget it.
I gotcha.
He's like, before we get started, I don't want you to be offended, but I see a number of white faces in this class. I just want you to know it's not your fault. but you're all racist.
That's where athletics, I think, plays a big part in society. Well, bottom line,
I'm going to tell you why.
I played ball. We were a mostly white team at the time, but we may have had 8 or 10 African Americans, a couple Hispanic guys, and all that. But I broke bread with those guys, man. I smacked helmets with those guys. We lived together. They're my brothers.
Yeah.
Why would I treat them? And if I'm treating them the same? Granted, I've been around them and I know them. As long as I get to know some other people that might, why wouldn't I treat them the same too?
I had Uwe here a million times.
Right.
And he could walk into. When the Cavallo's was open, they'd know him at Cavallo's.
Right. But then how the moniker, so for me, athletics is a great game breaker as well.
Well, it's different. Yeah.
But how people, how can you stereotype somebody just by
he wrote a book
looking
about
at them? He did.
Yeah, he wrote a book about it. He just explained it. It's not our fault. We were just raised that way.
Okay.
Innately, that you're racist and I'm racist.
Okay.
And he's racist.
I got you.
It's not our fault. It's our family's fault.
All right.
Because they just don't understand the plight of the black man, the minority.
What is the plight?
Just the issues that they deal with and the values that we don't understand. I'd have to go back and look at my notes. It was 20 years ago. But we don't understand it. We don't understand. Well, I was intrigued.
His notes.
Listen, when the class ended, I got an A in the class.
Yeah, I'm sure you did because you caved. You racist.
I said,
racist right here.
This is
right
the
here.
most enlightening class I've ever taken.
You're yelling reparations.
Everybody that admits they're racist gets an A. Racist.
I said the most enlightening class I've ever taken, and I'm very sorry that I'm a racist. I would like to work to be better, so I'm not a racist. Is there anything I can do? And you know what his response was?
No.
Nope.
Right. It is what it is. So why bother trying
Why
this?
bother then? But basically what he's saying is
nothing you can do.
You know what's amazing about that thought process? He's basically saying, why bother?
Well, he said there's nothing you can do.
Then should we go back to segregation?
I said, I'll go to therapy. I'll do this. I'll do that. Like, is there any way I cannot be racist? No, I did, because I didn't want to be racist. I felt bad. And he said, no, you're always going to be a racist, and it's only going to get worse. So I felt bad. And if you look up his name's Noel Kasnave. He's very famous for this. And he was the only white racism class. There were 2 of them, but he was one of them that was offered in the United States, and it was at UConn. So it was good. It was a good learning experience. So I know I'm a racist.
Where did he get his vast knowledge from?
I don't know his background. I just know that he said I was a racist. And the first day he told all the white people we were racist. It's good that he let us know, so we didn't have to wonder, because I wondered going in.
Well, you knew.
Well, no, I didn't know.
Knew you were racist.
I never thought of myself as a racist.
He still works at the University of Connecticut?
Oh, I'm sure he does. He's a legend. He wrote books. He's been published. He's the most acclaimed sociology professor. Why? Did you look him up? Does it say he's still there? I would imagine he still is.
I'm reading all about him.
Yeah, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Did he mention Steve?
I'm going to email him. I'm going to email him and thank him again.
Did he mention Steve at all in his bio? There was one student that confounded me. Kept asking questions instead of accepting it.
I accepted it.
Kept asking questions instead of accepting his racism.
I accepted it. I just wanted to be better.
Excuse me, sir. What do you mean that I'm racist? I kind of don't understand that. I don't feel racist. Do I look racist?
I wanted to understand how I could improve.
How you could improve?
That's all I wanted to be. I wanted to be better.
Lose 50 pounds and get every black person $10 in the class.
So
I don't know. How can you? What?
I would have done it if he said reparations was the way. I would have given reparations. I would have given $100 to everyone.
Without action, without me doing something that is outlandishly racist, how can you say someone is racist?
Oh, because
you're making an assumption.
It's born in you.
It's not born in me?
Yes, it's
a DNA?
Yes.
Really?
In all white people, it's in our DNA.
So the white kids in the black people, they play in the playground?
I think I've ever been a part of in my life.
Right.
I'm telling you what he said.
If I sat in that class, I think I would just be like, am I in Mars?
I'm just telling you what he said.
Right.
Hey, yeah, no, I believe, Steve. I believe he said.
I unlike you, I am very empathetic. I felt bad. I was a racist.
But he's a grandfather.
Well, he's a little light skinned. But I felt bad that I was a racist, and all I did was want to improve. What is wrong with that?
Without action,
wanting to better yourself.
Without action, how can you say anyone is anything?
I offered.
How can you? How can you say
I would have gone to therapy?
Frank is a good man, and I've done nothing to prove that.
Yeah.
How can someone say that? They can't make that generality.
Well, he's just, again, like I said, it's in my DNA. But I offered to go to therapy, counseling. I said I'd do anything. Like, what can I do to not be a racist?
Blow him.
And
you should have sucked him off right there, Steve. I would have. That's part of reparations.
Now you're making fun of his sexuality. I would have done anything had he said, if you do this,
would have done anything.
You will no longer be a racist.
Yeah.
If you do these 3 things,
yeah,
you will not be racist. I would have done it.
Right.
Unity in the community.
Yeah. Oh, God, I forgot.
Unity in the community.
Fuck, Ernie's gonna hear this. Okay. So this has been a
Ernie gives Steve 3 things to do.
Ernie, I'm not racist.
Ernie, Steve is a born racist.
I said, Ernie, I'm not, and I tried to get out of it. I tried to,
but he's just born that way.
Ernie,
if you visit Richmond, Virginia, you can go to the Cully plantation.
To Cully.
You know, that's so wrong.
That's great.
All right, for the voice of reason himself, Coach
Aren't
Schumann.
you Lebanese?
Yeah, I'm Lebanese.
How can you be racist?
And Italian.
You're half Lebanese and half Italian?
All I know is I was born it. There's nothing I can do.
He's a persecuted Guinea.
There's nothing I can do. I'm racist.
Your parents were from Lebanon?
My father, my father.
His father's from Lebanon, but he was born racist against African Americans.
He was born
from here. He doesn't even know he grew up. He didn't even know what they were.
I know. He was in New Hartford. We didn't have any black people here. Yeah, I know. And he went to prep school where there were no black people. So I don't know what to tell you.
He's a persecuted mob Arab.
Well, I'll let him know that he's a racist, and
oh my God!
I'll try to get. It's
amazing how Arabs could be born racist against African Americans when it's amazing how they knew to be racist.
Yeah. Well, you don't know. It's in you.
Knew to be racist, even though he didn't even know what
he didn't know it was in him. It's in you.
Yes, I didn't.
It's in me.
It's in me. What is it? COVID?
I can't stop it. I wish I could.
Is there a booster for that?
I wish I could.
Anti-racist booster.
I offered to do anything. I said, I'll do anything. Please, just tell me, what can I do? And he said,
Did he pause?
It sounds like the lead into a Pornhub segment. I'll do anything.
He said no.
I'll do anything, Professor, for an A.
He said no.
Steve, now that you brought it up, there is one way. Now you brought it up, Steve. There's one way you cannot be.
Yeah.
I have office hours at 11.
Yes. Please come during that time, please.
Let me bring in all the brothers from Alpha Kappa Delta.
He said, Steve, it's very nice that you care so much about this issue.
But you can't do nothing about it.
Unfortunately, there's nothing you can do.
They stamped you.
You're
racist.
You're always going to be a racist, and it's only going to get worse.
Really?
And
it's only going to get worse.
Yes, he says, as I get
over time, we get more racist?
Yes, we get more racist.
I thought we're supposed to, over time, we're supposed to grow.
No, we get worse.
What does someone like me do whose father's Jewish? My mother was born in Indonesia, but she's Dutch.
Yeah.
And they were captors originally of Indonesia. But in my family tree, we have 2 Asians that are part of our family tree.
What does Asian have to do with anything?
I'm 20% Asian. I'm 20% Asian and
the race is always.
That makes you
am
less
I
racist?
naturally racist, even though 80?
Okay. That's
Dave,
no. It was
Dave.
the class was
How
white
tall?
racism.
How many stories is your house?
Is the Asian side of me racist?
You're probably right because the class was called white racism.
Or is it the Jewish side, or is it the born again Christian side?
No,
I actually am. Even
the
though
born again Christian side, definitely. Well, how many stories? How many stories do you have in your house, Dave? 2? You 2-story home?
Yes.
You did go to the second story and jump out the window. That's what you.
No,
That's the only way you can make up for it.
You're
if
right.
I die, wait. If I die,
Yep, you're still racist.
Still racist.
You're a dead racist.
Yeah, there's no forgiveness.
You're a good racist. The only good
A
racist.
dead racist is a good racist.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I mean, there's nothing you can do about it.
Nothing
So
I can do.
I tried, and
so because I'm white, I mean, I don't even know if I'm white. Honestly, I'm close to Sicily, and the Moors.
It was called white racism. So white people are innately racist.
What if
maybe we're not?
Let me ask you this: if I married,
I can't answer for Noel Casnave, but
if
okay.
If I married a black woman,
yes,
and my children were half white and half black,
I'll email him that. I'll ask him.
Still a racist?
Good. That's a great point.
I'll ask him.
That's a great point.
I'll email him.
Against my own children?
You're only racist. You're only racist half the amount of time.
According to him, I think
only half the day.
Only half the time.
12 hours you're a racist. The other 12 you're
I don't know how. And this is what infuriates me.
That's what's so stupid about it.
How do you shake? How do you get rid of it? I mean, what am I supposed to just sit there? I'm supposed to just say, yeah, I'm a racist. You're right.
That's what he said.
Everything goes to racism. Everything.
That's
Everything.
What he said.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner is all racist.
You're always going to be a racist.
Paycheck, racist.
And it's going to get worse.
Vacation, racist.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. You're just.
No matter where I go, racist.
Yes.
Everything I do is racism.
The class was called white racism.
Really?
And white people.
Then how in the freak did I just employ 5 African Americans in my store?
Well,
if I hate him so much.
How did he get funding for a class called white racism?
Because he's at a liberal university in Connecticut.
Well, I don't think we're liberal, but
hell yeah, they are.
Oh, okay, maybe we are.
Hell yeah, they are.
I don't know. Well, all right.
I mean, I don't know.
I'm curious. I got a couple more questions.
Oh God,
please.
What if?
We're coming up with scenarios now.
If I was white, but I had a brother, okay. So let's say I had a parent. My 2 parents.
One parent household? Oh, you're already lost.
Oh no, they're both parents.
Okay.
But my parents had me, and I was white. But my one parent, they get divorced, and the other parent marries someone who's African American, and they have a child.
And your stepbrother
is black or half black, I guess half black. Am I? Because he was born after me, so am I born racist against?
Yeah, you're racist. You're still racist.
Against my own brother.
Yes. Yep. 100%. Nothing you can do. Sorry.
I'm over it.
I tried. I mean, that's. Listen,
you offered to blow the guy.
He's very strict. The law is the law.
Maybe you can blow.
There's no bending.
Out of him.
There's no bending or breaking.
You offered everything that you could, Steve.
I tried. I said I would. I just wanted to do something not to be racist. I just didn't want to be racist because I'm very empathetic and I care.
Seeing as we're on, what's the name of this channel? What's the name of the station?
Republic?
No,
Unity Radio.
Unity Radio, right?
Unity in the community,
right? Since we're, but it's 98. This is 98.7,
97.9. Unity Radio.
Seeing as how we're on Unity Radio and we're the only Caucasian show on Unity Radio. I mean, bottom line, there has to be a lot of other people that could give good input to this right here. So please, if you could send messages to this station.
We don't want that. We don't need that.
What if I was gay and white? Would I still be?
And your lover was black.
And my lover was black.
Could you still be racist?
Yes, you're racist. You're white. You're racist. There's no discussion. There's no argument. End of story. You are white. You're racist.
White and gay.
You're
I
racist.
would be racist against some people, and some people would be racist against me.
No,
Right.
but you're going to be racist
You
against black people.
What if someone didn't like gay people? What if someone didn't like a gay person? Could they be prejudiced against me?
Well, that's homophobia. That's different. That's not racism.
But if your lover was black, then you're still racist.
Yeah, you're still racist.
What if I was blind?
You are persecuting your lover.
I thought I was black, but I was actually.
Well, you like the Chappelle show?
That's Dave Chappelle. That was
like
Clayton Bigsby.
When Clayton Bigsby divorced his wife. Yeah. No, I mean, listen, Dave. There's no bending of the rules. There's no the guidelines are what they are. You are a white Caucasian man. You are a racist, and there's nothing you can do to change.
I'm 20% Asian.
That doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. You're white.
But I'm 20% Asian.
That's great,
Pocahontas said that I could get financial aid of being.
Isn't Pocahontas?
She did. She did, but she had zero. She had zero,
and she actually turned out to have zero. So
I thought that was the Massachusetts lady.
Yeah, Elizabeth Warren.
She said she was Indian.
Pocahontas claimed she was Indian,
but she wasn't.
No,
she was. So is she born
racist,
even though she thought she was Indian?
Yes.
Right.
Yep.
So she's a racist.
She's a racist.
If I played
Dave, the guidelines are what they are. You can't bend them.
I was an actor,
and I can't change it.
And I played.
Did you just say I was a moolie?
No, I said a movie. I was in a movie.
It's going to his head now. Now it's over. Ernie, give him three things, please.
Well, because Steve is a racist. We found it.
No, I thought you said we
got him.
He was thinking.
So what? So what?
He was thinking it, Frank, because
he was.
His inherent.
Listen, I have admitted I am a racist. I was told I was a racist.
You had to get an
A. I there's nothing I can do. I'm a racist.
Did you get an A?
Yeah.
Did all the other white kids get an A?
Are you considered a good racist if you got an A in a class about white racism?
He didn't quantify good or bad.
Are you considered good at racism then?
He didn't quantify that.
Or are you considered bad at racism?
You know what? I'll email Kaznay.
Wait. This is a really good question. If you get an A in a white racism class, are you considered to be good at racism?
No,
I think bad at racism.
I think it's understanding that all whites are racist.
Steve graduated with a Sigma cum racism.
Yes,
I think that's it.
He's actually the best at racism because he got an A in white
racism. Because I understood.
You understood the assignment,
and I believed in it. All right. So
he's walking out of class, dropping the N-word, and all the guys in the hallway.
Yeah, that's exactly what.
That's right. I'm one of you. I understand you.
That's exactly.
I understand. I'm racist, man. I'm racist.
All right. So I'll email Kaznay. We'll get him on the show next week.
This might be the best rapper of all time.
We're gonna get him or the LinkedIn guy from last week. We'll get him as a guest on. We'll get one or the other.
I'm racist.
Frank, you're damn racist.
And Dave, if you do,
we know Steve is. He got an A. Steve got an A in racism.
White racism.
He personified
racist. Steve got actually an A in it.
He screamed "mooly" right here on the show.
White racism.
He was thinking it the whole time. The guy was right. Kaznay was right.
I gotta hold it in. Mooly.
Dave, are you doing the college football show tomorrow?
Oh,
I have a podcast at 11:30, so I don't think I can.
There's no way he can. He's not going to have any African American athletes come on the show anymore.
Of course not. No, we've ruined everything.
Oh.
All right, banner episode.
Thank you
of Rebel Republic, the voice of reason.
I feel so much better now.
I think I lost 20 points of
Coach Schumann, who kept giving me scenarios about racism, and I kept trying to tell him there's no guidelines. You are a racist. You are what you are. You can't bend, break, or change anything. The guidelines are clear. You're white. You're a racist. That's how it is. All right.
What if?
No, that's it. There's nothing to argue about.
Nothing.
That's it.
The comments are great. The comments are great. Tyler King said, How much longer is this going on? No, Steve, you are not.
Stop talking to Tyler King.
And then I'm Cold said. First he asked if it's a real grand piano. Then he said you're a racist even if you don't think so.
See, he's right. He's right. There you go.
They know.
They
Great
know.
You don't need
I'm Cold.
I'm a racist. So
At least you got an A.
Coach Schumann, great as always. Just remember when life gives you lemons, don't make lemonade. Take 2 oranges and throw them back at racism.